The laureates we've had in the past and the laureates we are going to present to you tonight all have, their part of this mission to bring health back to the general population. And I'll give you some statistics tonight about the ill health of existing populations around the world. There's a lot of diversity between countries, and I won't dwell on that. I think our idea is to raise visibility of the need to stay in shape. It's not just physical shape, it's mental shape, it's being able to reason and being able to be a part of a society that is going somewhere positively. And so what I think we would like to do tonight is to show you what's been done in the past to some degree, but what we have decided to do in the future, introduce the laureates for this year. We spent all day yesterday and had a nice dinner with them, and we come back to the same old adage: when people are on the ground working with real people, they remain real people, and not hard to have a dialogue that's positive with these people. So this year we've given a slogan to what we're doing, that healthy aging really does matter. And our 2 previous years of giving out awards show that. But we really have to get to work on what's happening around the world in terms of general health. Because by 2050, we will have 2 billion people over the age of 65. And by the same date, we will have 400 million over the age of 80. And that's an increase of older people, which is just enormous, even versus today. If we don't focus on the health of these people, we will have a huge moral and financial burden to carry around forever, because we're capable of putting our mind and our attention and our money to doing a better job of keeping people healthy for a lifelong period. Everyone is involved. Our elders, the ones who are older now, I'm part of that group, I guess, their families, our society, and of course, the future of our children. So I just want to take you into why, in spite of these glum statistics, we can build a better future. It's my feeling, that's my hope, and that we're obliged to do so. And part of building a longer and better life is making a big effort. We'll have to make a big effort to get people to understand that if they make an effort on their own bodies, their own minds, and so on, they will live longer and better. To be active, to be mobile, to be sociable. The opposite of that, if you just look in your mind, if you were not active and not, you didn't have your mobility and you didn't have friends, what would life be like? And yet we have to encourage that. And lots of people have a lonely life because they don't have those things in hand. We have to therefore change their habits and their behavior. I'm not a psychologist, but I think part of what they have to know is what they're faced with when they get over the age of 50, and that's when things, start to not work as they should from a medical standpoint. You want to continue to have your friends, you want to make discoveries in life if you're curious, to go places you've never been before, to have fun, to be able to use good humor. And it's very tough to do if we're living in a world where these things are sort of disappearing. And this is why our major objective is to expand these health programs, and especially fitness, as quickly as we can around the world. And the idea is to have laureates. Most of them now measure impact in their work. In other words, to say, if you've done a following set of exercises, if you have done what you need to do to be healthy, socially able, and so on, then these things are measured sometimes with numbers in terms of life expectancy and the length of life, if there was enough years to be able to make that calculation. But what is really counting for the most of the impact is better mobility, successful rehabilitations from sicknesses or from accidents, longer lifespans, better lives. Obviously, if you can live longer, you should live better, and of course, friendship and social interaction. They help society bring awareness and visibility for better health. They also follow the technological progress that's been made in the physical fitness area, and they find scale in an expansion of their work to englobe more people and more places. And I can cite the names of our very first laureates who have already started to expand. Ciel Bleu has already started to expand. Good Boost in the UK has made a rapid expansion, and so on. All of these need support from philanthropy. The problem being that governments don't have much money anymore. Where's the money going to come from to be able to support these activities? Because in order to put them in place, in order to do the training, do the organization, and do the measurement of impact, they need more money. And a lot of that will have to come from philanthropy. One of the reasons for trying to get people to expand is to put it in motion. And I'll just take last year's laureates. We had 4 laureates last year. We really have a model to follow, which is to choose the best, talk to them about what they can do to be even more the best by expanding their activities, and even training other people who would like to do a startup, who don't necessarily want a joint venture or anything else, but help them get themselves started, have the right tools to get started, and the right manuals, and training by coaches who already know what they're doing. So what are our objectives? I think I said most of them. We are planning to continue this kind of work. We are planning to have laureates in the coming years and find people who do exceptional things exceptionally well. We will also encourage and help their expansions with whatever it takes, advice, finding the funding, and making sure that the operational side is in order so that, in fact, they can impress and get more people in every country. And we will do our part to raise the visibility and healthy lifestyles that lead to a better and longer life through social media, and try and recruit more people who are involved and who accept that this visibility will require them getting involved or putting work in their hands to get to where we want to be ultimately. In closing, I will include that we have a job convincing governments, local governments, state governments, and national governments to support these programs. There haven't been very many programs that governments have supported. I think the no smoking program is the only one that I know that's really seems to be a big success, not all due to that program, but I think probably represents the biggest advance we've had in health in a long period of time, and was supported largely by governments. This is what we're planning for the next few years, the same old thing, events, and help, our help to help people do what they have to do to make their activity available in more places and just as well as they've done it when they started off. So this is our promise, and we'll try and keep it. Thank you very much. And now I have the great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Kelly Davies. Kelly is a director of Ashoka in UK. She's the founder of women's football in the UK.
I'm a founder of women's football. I think that's one of my biggest achievements. But I think the energy in this room tonight, by the way, can I just point out, it's been something quite special. And I always enjoy coming to these things because of that. And I think I'm not at all surprised, actually, by that. When I first met Jack, I think it was probably about 6 months ago in Oxford, and we shared a glass of wine in a student bar, actually, I think it was. And he told me about his dream and the commitment that Fit for Life had made to providing financial sort of unrestricted support to leading social entrepreneurs and activating them as role models to enable people to truly embrace fitness and physical activity and healthy aging, and at mass scale. And I've got to admit, I really bought into that purpose straight away. It's probably my background, but I really thought, actually, this is something quite special, and this is a purpose that truly resonates with me. So the first thing I would like to say is, therefore, I couldn't be more excited, actually, about coming here tonight and being with you in here, and also to celebrate the new members of the Fit for Life family and the laureate. Quite frankly, sport and physical activity changed my life. My childhood was taking up from a very early age. I was bullied really badly. I developed an eating disorder. I plummeted down to 3.5 stone, so I'm not underestimating it. I was really on the verge of dying, really. And I managed to overcome it, and then I started to play football at the age of 12. And I would go on to play for the national team, and I would go and be professional for Arsenal and Liverpool ladies in what would be the equivalent of the Women's Super League now. And just as Jack said, I actually had the absolute time of my life, because it took me on adventures all around the world to places I had never, ever seen. I genuinely have got, and I can look at you all I have friendships now that are lifelong friendships. My best friend is 28 years, we've been best friends for 28 years. She was a professional female footballer, and she refereed the bronze medal match in the World Cup recently. But that friendship was it was there right at the moment. But I would say it's never been really easy. I didn't have enough female role models when I was a young girl, probably given the bias that I was brought up in a male-dominated family where the brothers played football. But I think we all know that we have to accept that there was a bias towards male football. There probably still is to a certain extent, but it became really, really tough. And I must add at this point as well, I nearly dropped out at the age of 14 because of that. And I nearly dropped out as well, I think, because the facilities that we played at were not fit for purpose. Like, I cannot describe, if you turn up as a 14-year-old to a changing room that has no female facilities, it just has urinals and they don't smell really pleasant, it can turn you off pretty quickly. So thankfully I had people around me that sort of encouraged me, and I think by being on the pitch and being part of a team, it really taught me about self-confidence. Because if you think, if I dropped down to 3.5 stone, I had no self-confidence, and football gave me the self-confidence. It showed me the true value of teamwork, of respect, of discipline, of having fun. I have fun in everything I do. I've not come to Geneva today just to give a speech. I've come because I'm actually really going to enjoy this. I'm going to have fun and meet really. So I've always had that. And I think the sheer physicality of training and competitive play made me both really healthy and very happy. And I think I really owe that to football, obviously. But whilst I don't play football anymore, I actually gave up at 22. I had 65 international caps, which I think was probably going to be the record, and then I moved on. But I think it's a non-negotiable, and I would say I'm far less controlled now about what I eat and drink. So, I really have fun and enjoy this. But I think it's a non-negotiable, and I say this to everybody, it is a non-negotiable for me to exercise regularly, if not daily. Probably be a bit loose when it comes to things like this, but because if I didn't do that, I would be really, really unhappy. I would be really, really miserable. I'd probably be in really poor health. You might not see it at the moment, but internally I'd think I would feel it. And actually, I would say at the moment, I stopped for a period of time and my B12 dropped to 19 out of 900. There might be a correlation there, but I would definitely be, if I was not exercising regularly, I would without doubt be considerably decreasing my lifespan and my life enjoyment. So that was something I wanted to say. And I think Jack's obviously alluded to that he's found great satisfaction in mountain climbing and cycling. And I'm sure lots of people in this room would probably agree that they found it in many different ways or very different forms. And I think that's the power, isn't it, of sport and of fitness and of physical movement. It truly transforms life in ways we never probably expected. And I think all of this ignited my own passion, really, for making a positive change to others. And after my time as a player, I completed an MBA in football industries. And then I founded a social business called Viability, which was to help both commercially unsustainable football clubs and also youth that are completely disengaged from the education system. And in short, I saw these clubs and the activities that they sponsored as being sort of the anchors in the local community, and where better health and wellness, where better relationships, where people developed a sense of purpose, where they had employment opportunities. All of these were developed sort of through sport and through these community hubs that we developed. And I realised that by revitalising these struggling clubs, we would help revitalise the communities in which they function, but also we would revitalise the individuals that lived there, not only just the younger population, but actually the ageing population. And we had, well, I'm really proud to say actually that the model scaled to over 17 different countries. It completely transformed the lives of tens of thousands of individuals. We were named UK Social Enterprise of the Year. We launched a computer game called Football CEO in San Francisco with Deloitte, which was a joint revenue venture actually to generate significant income, but also reinvest it to activate the masses. And I think viability back then, you're talking, 15 years ago, it really helped change broken systems. And it helped shift mindsets too. And I think proof of this is that recently, and I didn't really see the impact it was having but recently I was asked to advise the national governing bodies, football and UEFA, on creating a strategy around sustainable football associations of the future and implementing that in our national sort of country at Wales, which I'm part of. But it really made me think, actually, the penny's dropped here. It's taken a long time and I've got really, really frustrated, but actually I think the penny's starting to drop. The other thing is, I'd also like to think, and maybe Jack gave me this before, I'd like to think that I and my teammates that went before have played some role, I would say, in pushing the envelope. Actually, we're in a safe space here. We didn't push the envelope. We bashed down loads of doors on women's football. And I'm talking, we literally bashed them down. And I'm so encouraged by the way women's football now the strides it's made in recent years. And, you only have to look at the revenue generated. And these are the World Cup at the moment has been sort of taken over by this Spanish kiss, hasn't it? But the reality is the revenues generated from this World Cup are the second highest in any sporting event globally ever. It's a statistic nobody really knows about. Football, for the first time, has been put on the national curriculum. Like, seriously? I have to say, seriously, why is it taking this long? But the reality is now, we've got so many young girls that will be exercising regularly, having fun, building friendships, enjoying maybe a sport they really love, maybe they don't like it, but you know, there's that opportunity now, and it will be. I think it will become a habit, and I would probably push it a little bit that exercise become a bit of an addiction, a really healthy addiction, that will encourage healthy aging later. But am I okay for time? I waffle on a little bit, but I'm okay. Ooh, I push me off. But we still. The important thing is, though, that I do need to use these opportunities as well to say, you know, we still need female representation in boardrooms. I'm a chair of a national governing body, make investment in fit for purpose. It's lonely. You know, we need more people, because until that happens, you know, the system's never going to be completely equitable, and that must change, really. And I think women's football shows the importance here, which is relevant, the importance of visibility, of good financing. So if you invest in something, you'll get the returns, and the power in entrepreneurship. So the question, obviously, that I hope many of you will probably be sat in the room with is, why aren't these things happening in fitness and around healthy aging? Like, well, seriously, are we still trying to convince government that this is a good idea? We shouldn't be, really, should we? So just wanted to put that out there as a serious question and to push the envelope. But why is the penny not dropped? This is not rocket science. Sorry. So I joined Ashoka, basically, because I'm the UK director now, because I believe that innovation is an essential catalyst for positive change and for doing good that will benefit everyone. And our organisation, which many of you probably don't know about, believes that everyone, everywhere, so don't be mistaken, that means everyone in this room, has the same potential to contribute and make change in our communities and our workplaces, so that they're more better and more inclusive. And we've got social innovators in 96 countries around the world, where solutions have made systems change, and they've made mindset shifts, which has basically resulted in behavioural change. And we elect them as lifetime fellows, so they're in for life, and we connect them with various stakeholders to create impact. And I'm grateful to be one of them. So I got elected for my first, when I left the football and started the social business, that's what I got elected a fellow for. And Ashoka believes that sport, actually, and it's taken a bit of convincing, I have to be honest. I know there's nobody in the room, but it's taken a bit of convincing at times. But we believe that sport, which includes all the physical activity, the fitness, everything like that, are avenues for change making and essential ingredients for healthier, happier and longer lives. And this drives our Sport for Change Making team, global team that I'm leading at the moment. And we've got a recent report out there. I won't go into it now. I'll save you on that because I know the time. But I'll make sure people have got a copy of it. But we really want to elect more fellows engaged in this work and to learn even more and help them build more on their solutions. And it's what really it's exciting now that we are really, really aligned with Fit for Life's commitment to celebrating and activating these social innovators. And it's something that's completely energised me, if I'm being honest, over the last few months. And it's a priority of Ashoka because we've got a new longevity programme that's also committed to a world where every older person has a healthy, active lifestyle and can contribute to the good of all. So together, Ashoka and Fit for Life will activate more innovators and cause more impact in the world. And we've started a partnership now where we'll look to elect more. I think it's six new Ashoka Fit for Life fellows from the Global South, whose models sort of fit this. We'll also help 12 of the Ashoka fellows develop their leadership skills and scale more. And we'll co-design together. And we'll also introduce all these fellows and all the Fit for Life families to the opportunities, the exposure that you've talked about, the recognition. You know, it really, really is. Not many people know about Ashoka, but it is something quite special. And when you join forces, something really, really special can happen. So I think I'll end because I can feel this tension coming towards me. Radical collaboration is probably the secret sauce that creates lasting sort of change in sport and fitness. And I'd just say, Jack, the team, people in this room, we simply can't wait to get started. And I hope this relationship lasts for a very long time.
And I watched part of the World Cup, and I also saw the famous kiss. Huh? And so I also saw that, you know, there are still some people crossing the line. Well, that's normal, so we have to do something about that. But thanks very much, because I think we learned a lot about sport, about how you bring it about, and we also about how it makes you feel, because at least I always felt good doing sport, and I always felt good using my body and kind of pushing the envelope, as you said. So thank you again. I think what we'd like to do is to show you videos which have been done on the activities of the laureates. The new laureates are with us tonight. And then once you've seen those videos, then I would like the people who represent the laureate in question just come up on the stage with me, grab a microphone, and I'll ask some pertinent questions, because everybody's in a kind of a different field, doing things differently, and you can understand better when the people in charge can respond to questions which try and get some information out to you, which is succinct but very complete. So, the videos.
Exwell Medical's core rationale is that a large part of the disability and unwellness experienced during chronic illnesses such as heart disease, diabetes, or arthritis is caused by a deterioration in physical fitness due to lack of physical activity. This deconditioning can be fixed through exercise, thereby transforming people's lives without having to fix the illness. Exwell Medical is a social enterprise that provides affordable, accessible, and medically-led exercise programs, mainly through group classes in community settings such as sports clubs, community halls, nursing homes, or private dwellings. Online options are also available. The core components of the program are strength, balance, and aerobic exercise. The social interaction element is a vital ingredient to maintain motivation. Everyone can take part to some extent, regardless of the nature, duration, or severity of their illness. Most participants are referred to the class by their doctor, nurse, or social worker. The program's impact is captured by measuring changes in strength, aerobic fitness, frailty, self-efficacy, and quality of life. On average, all measured outcomes improve quickly within 6 weeks. The scale of the improvement is such that it makes a meaningful difference to quality of life. Exwell Medical plays an important support role in the Irish Health Service, offering extra capacity and a safe exit pathway from the state's own chronic illness rehabilitation services. Running the Exwell program requires a population center, a suitable venue, a local clinical champion, and a referral network. Initial evidence suggests that engaging in the Exwell program for 1 year correlates with a reduction in healthcare utilization costs of €1,500. Currently, Exwell operates in 22 locations and hosts nearly 3,000 weekly participant visits.
Since I started in Exwell about 3.5 years ago, my health has improved. I'm healthier than I was when I was 40.
The improvement is extraordinary.
I look forward to it. I tell everybody about it. It's just a great thing in my life.
The question you ask about what happens when they finish a program is really, really very topical, because it is well known in public health, no matter what the intervention is, that if you do a program for 12 weeks and you stop it, the benefit is likely to be substantially gone 12 more weeks later. This is not yet clearly the case for clinical exercise, but it is a topic that we are now researching. For people of different abilities, it is quite possible to accommodate them in the same room. So there are a number of ways of doing this. If a person is doing an exercise, they can do it at 2 different levels. So for example, the half jack or jumping jack, the half jack is easy like this, the full jack is like that. Or there are other ways of doing it. If we have stations in a class, we can have a group that are frail in one station and a group that are strong in a different station. Or we can in fact have classes that are at different intensities, a gentle class or a standard class or an advanced class. So catering for different abilities is not a problem. Our experience is that doctors in general are now very, very clued in to the importance of clinical exercise for people with chronic illness. And they are delighted, in fact, to be able to refer to a program that they have trust and confidence in. And it's much more beneficial to be sending them to an environment where they are supervised than to be just simply advocating for exercise.
The Philo Project is a social enterprise that aims to revolutionize dementia care for older people by establishing a unique network where private hosts welcome older people, the clients, into their homes for meaningful day care. Hosts undergo a meticulous selection process based on specific personal attributes and are provided with ongoing support and attractive remuneration, focused on enhancing well-being and cognitive functions as well as easing social isolation and fostering confidence. The program offers enjoyable activities that serve as social outings rather than conventional daycare. A day with the Philo Project typically runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Transportation is provided by the hosts, which allows them to reach clients even in rural locations. Clients attend 1 to 3 times per week, which is essential for bonding and consistent social interaction. Social engagement has been proven to reduce dementia symptoms and cognitive decline.
Seem to thrive on meeting new people.
It does give you a massive sense of fulfillment, especially when you see these changes, and not just in your clients, you also see the changes in the carers, because you're giving them time and respite.
As the demands on caregivers continue to rise, local authorities are left with no alternative but to outsource their day care services. Initiatives such as the Philo Project are fast becoming indispensable in this context. The Philo Project is currently present in 4 counties in the UK: Devon, Somerset, Cornwall, and Lancashire. According to survey results, 59.6% of families whose relatives with dementia participated in Philo Project activities observed notable improvements in their well-being, motivation, appetite, and overall relaxation. 74% of carers surveyed expressed eased stress. Since founding, the Philo Project has provided support to over 3,000 older people living with dementia.
And they're so grateful and happy, and I go home and my jaw's aching sometimes from laughing so much, and you just wouldn't, you don't get that feedback from any other group really in society, and it's just it's really rewarding.
It's a good day out for me, and it's also for the wife. She gets clear of me for a day and she can do what she likes. It raises up your spirits a lot. I'm thankful that there's something like this.
We keep people living well in their own homes, and demonstrate that, you know, that is what we can all achieve if we put our minds together, and we can reduce the risk of falls, we can keep people out of hospital, and we can delay the entry into residential care. But that takes vision from commissioners and understanding what we all need to do to achieve that. That's hard.
Mm-hmm. You act mainly, I think, in rural areas. Would this model be easily adaptable to cities? And where is the scalability aspect? If you want to scale, are you going to scale into cities?
I think from the city perspective, working in inner cities it would be tricky in terms of kind of access for clients, parking, stairs and such like, but we could certainly operate kind of in the kind of fringes of cities and feed into cities, but kind of having hosts in situ in a city is tricky, but certainly in suburban cities, and also it depends on the size of the city, so kind of smaller ones, yes, larger ones such as London would be trickier, but yes, we can still...
There is such a challenge with rurality, with people, particularly in England, living very rurally, where we have no services. Kelly will know that. And, you know, we can think about cities, and I'd like to think we could do a pilot. In fact, we are going to do a pilot in somewhere called Bournemouth, if anybody knows Bournemouth. It's a small city. But our focus has got to be supporting those rural communities and small towns and villages now, and then we'll see how, you know, where there's a will, we might be able to get further into urban areas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Zeitposter is a social care savings bank in which volunteers provide simple support services to older people and earn time credits that they can redeem in the future when they need help themselves. Part of the revenue from these paid services is used to support the organization's operations, and the rest is deposited in a blocked personal account. Volunteers can later use the amount saved to purchase support services. Aging societies worldwide are facing a growing demand for elder care, along with a shortage of caregivers. The Zeitposter model complements existing health and care systems by creating an incentive to contribute today in order to receive in the future. The organization operates on a give-and-take model. It offers an innovative way to rebuild the social ties and mutual aid that once existed in both rural and urban areas. Zeitposter's headquarters coordinates regional groups of up to 80 volunteers, most of whom are retired. Each team undergoes comprehensive training and is provided with essential tools, including manuals, workshops, mobile phones, an email address, liability insurance, and promotional materials. Volunteers offer simple support services such as domestic help, the most common request, driving, administrative assistance, leisure activities, and home repairs. Their assistance also provides respite for family caregivers. Zeitposter is active in Austria and Liechtenstein and is currently launching in Germany through a social franchise model. Since 2018, 900 people have benefited from services provided by the 1,000 volunteers in the Zeitposter network. This corresponds to 36,000 hours of service, 18,000 of which were provided in 2022.
Und ich habe es in der Alten Post gelesen, wie das erste Mal annonciert worden ist, und habe mich sofort gemeldet und bin wahnsinnig froh.
Ich bin auch schon in einem Alter, wo ich darüber nachdenke, wie es später einmal wird. Die Altersheimsituation ist nicht sehr rosig und wird sich auch nicht verbessern. Ich hoffe, dass es dann auch Leute gibt, die mir gerne helfen.
Das ist meine Vorsorge. Falls ich einmal die die Hilfe brauche, oder? Und ich bin natürlich auch schon über 60 und das kann schneller gehen, als man meint, oder? Und dann kann ich das in Anspruch nehmen. Für mich ist es eine extreme Bereicherung.
In the 90s, we started a local exchange trading system, and the older people tell us, that's so amazing, I have so a nice network, but now I get old, I cannot give someone back. How could we do this? And when we have a surge in Japan, in America, in Germany, in Switzerland, and we see some very hopeful initiatives, but very local, and have some problems and die after 10 years, 12 years mostly, because it's too complex to manage all the things. But as a social business, we can solve this problem, organize it very professional, and organize a very well situation for the volunteers to concentrate on the network, on the doing, on the daily doing.
And many people worry about their financial situation when they retire. And do you believe that the Zeitposter model can also contribute significantly to relieving this kind of financial stress? And I'll add something to the question, which is maybe it's usable in other fields as well.
Yeah, that's a real important point for us. So we see 70% from all the volunteers doesn't be volunteering before. So the reason is, why do the people this kind of work? And the University of Applied Science in Innsbruck has done a study with all volunteers, and 80% of the volunteers say, these hours is for my prevention for old days. And it's really important.
And your model does involve this remuneration of volunteers with time credits and with personal accounts. And is this model viewed as, let's say, a threat or a potential threat to the traditional non-remunerated volunteer approach used by others for non-profit organizations?
Not at all. Not at all. The point is, from all the people who do volunteering in middle of Europe, only 1% is in the field of care active. Yeah. So, and in this field, we have such a big need. Yeah. And we have to search for different people to this different work and have the time. But I think everybody has 1 or 2 hours per week to help the neighbors. And we give a solution with the best environment to do this.
And how about young people? Does your give and take model inspire them to volunteer for a greater extent for Zeitposter?
It's a difficult point for us, because when do you think about who will care me in old days? So if you're 50 and more years, you have to think about this. But with 20, it's not the question. But with 20, you have the question, who will care my children when I have to work and the children are ill and so on. But on the legal situation, is it not possible to use the hour to say, today I help and tomorrow I spend the time for care service for me? Yeah. It's a little bit problem, but in Liechtenstein we have the situation, the social insurance say, taste it and make your experience. And hopefully we can change the legal system in many, many countries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Škola Zdravia, the School of Health Association, is a volunteers-based organization whose goal is to promote regular exercise and healthy habits among the aging population. The association brings together people across Slovenia for a morning outdoor exercise program known as the 1000 Movements Method. The program is offered free of charge 5 to 6 days a week, all year round. It consists of 30 minutes of standing exercises selected to target all joints and muscle groups in the body and to improve flexibility, agility, balance, and breathing. Participants can work at their own pace and ability and are led by trained volunteers with an average age of 69.
Za nas je zelo pomembno, da čim bolj motiviramo posameznike, da ozavestijo, da je gibanje 30 minut na dan nujno potrebno za zdrav življenjski slog.
While the program can be done at home, performing the exercises with a group is encouraged as it fosters a sense of community and enjoyment. The association also offers lectures on health-related topics, ongoing training for volunteers, excursions, and activities in nature.
Še ena dobra stvar šole zdravja je to, da sem skozi telovadbo in druženje spoznal veliko novih prijateljev.
The School of Health Association is currently active in 93 municipalities, but aims to extend its reach to all 212 municipalities across Slovenia in the coming years. It currently has 4,410 members and 251 exercise groups led by 700 volunteers.
Vsak trenutek je lahko vaš nov začetek.
Well, how active are people generally in Slovenia, considering that you manage to motivate thousands of them to exercise in the morning? Is it a general idea with people in Slovenia that you should exercise, or is this something new?
No, it's definitely. Generally, people in Slovenia are very active, both in recreation and sports field. So the fact that Slovenians are 10th in the world in terms of the number of gold medals received in team sports in relation to the number of inhabitants, and even 9th in the world in the number of medals received, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? In addition to sports, recreation, hiking, and many other activities are widespread.
Well, let's have a hand for you. All have to know that the population of Slovenia is 2 million people.
Yes.
So to get those numbers,
you just think over how many cities are bigger than that. Yes.
What is the main driver for people to come to your exercise programs?
Bom pa jaz odgovorila kar v slovenskem jeziku, ker nas je tako malo ali pa veliko, pa vam še malo privoščimo, da slišite tudi slovenski jezik.
I will answer it in Slovenian because we are so few and we would like you to hear the melody of Slovenian language.
Naši člani pridejo vsako jutro na vadbo zato, ker si želijo ostati zdravi do zadnjega diha. Želijo ostati zdravi na svojem domu.
Our members come to exercise every morning because they would like to be healthy till the last breath, and they would like to stay healthy as long as possible.
Poleg tega, da skrbijo s telesnimi vajami za svoje zdravje, se tudi družijo.
Besides that they take care for their abilities and health with the exercises, they also socialize.
In naj povemo, da smo imeli letos 2. septembra vse slovensko srečanje naših članov.
Let us tell that we used to have on September the 2nd all Slovenian gathering of our members in Vinica.
Vinica, in zbralo se je 1700 članov.
And we gathered 1,700 members on one place.
Prišli so s 34 avtobusi
34 buses.
in zjutraj smo naredili najprej skupno telovadbo 1000 gibov.
In morning we made first the joint exercising after the method of 1000 movements.
In potem smo se družili in to je navdih našim članom.
And then we were socializing, and that's the inspiration for our members.
In se še sprašujete, zakaj so člani našega društva?
Do you still ask yourselves why are they members of our association?
So what is the story behind these orange T-shirts? Because those photos are so impressive when you look at it. I mean, it looks like it's a nice color. It's lively, and you're having fun, and you're a whole bunch of people there. So it's quite a perfect photo.
I'll return the question to you. You made the material for laureates in 21 and 22 on the orange bottom. Why orange? Okay,
my favorite color.
Okay, great. Well, the color orange radiates warmth, radiates joy. And as a mixture of red and yellow, it combines the physical energy of the red and the joy of yellow. With it, orange is associated with adventure and risk-taking, physical confidence, competition, independence. The color orange promotes self-respect and respect for the others. So the positive qualities of orange are sociability, optimism, enthusiasm, joy, self-confidence, independence, adventure, luxury. All this contributed to the choice of the orange country. Orange color, sorry. Yeah.
Pa še prepoznavni smo.
And we are also noticeable.
I'm just going to add one question that wasn't on the list.
Okay.
When do I get my orange T-shirt?
Well, we didn't think about it. Do you have one? No, we only took one for each, but we will send it by the post.
Well, maybe I'll just come to Slovenia.
Well, you promised, yes, you promised.
To smo želeli reči, dobite majico, ko pridete v Slovenijo.
Oh, well, she's the boss.
Oh.
You get the T-shirt when you come to Slovenia.
Oh, that's a tough part. Okay, and the last question is, over 80% of the people who attend your programs are women. Why are older men so reluctant to exercise? Oh, maybe any older man want to respond to that?
There's a lady in the back laughing her guts out. Maybe she knows the answer. That's a really excellent question. Men find all the possible and the dumbest excuses why they don't do it. And I guess we will use a part of the money received from your prize to introduce men to the importance of morning exercise, according to the 1000 movements method, to convince them that it is for their health and that they will get sick less often. Then they will be a burden to society and the family less often. And that they will feel much better and have much more energy to face the day ahead of them.
Very good. Thank you.
If you allow me, I have 1 minute to have me 1 minute more.
Sure.
Please, everybody stand up. You're sitting too long. We'll make it 1 minute, only 2 of exercises we do every morning for half an hour.
I would like to congratulate all of the awardees on receiving your prizes, which mean a lot to us and to you. I want to thank all the guests who are here, who have joined us tonight. And thank you for coming. And I hope that what we tried to present is a good picture of where we're at and where we're going. You can follow the movement of our foundation, including the tie-up with Ashoka on our site, where we will probably have a better description of how we're going to work on that joint project. I must say that working with the Ashoka people up until now has been a joy and will always be a greater joy, I think, because they have fantastic people. We will be doing quite a lot of things as we go out now. We have the capacity to do that. A lot more things we put on social media. There'll also be events that we will do, probably in liaison with other foundations or other organizations, some of the bigger organizations that are health-related organizations. And so look at our website and look at your Instagram and other things.